again, that will never get old. Elite intro.
And one
Until we
day,
have to
right,
make a Space Force one.
exactly, right after that 30-second intro, we'll get another 30 seconds from your guys' high production video.
I,
It's going to be elite.
Brandon, I envision that. I certainly hope we don't have to, because that means Oklahoma is, has landed a top 3 class. But I envision it to be like, oh my gosh, I was just about to say Trailer Park Boys. I figured the production would be like the boys.
Yeah, like season 1 boys, like not like because in the later season they actually had some really good high quality production, but we're talking season 1, episode 1, Trailer Park Boys. Yeah,
yeah. Let's get the liquor drinks going, boys. Man, I've been watching that for the 4th or 5th time through. I'm on season 10 right now, and I just watched Leahy with the liquor snurf.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Season
man.
10 where they get where it's Randy and Leahy and they're locked in the camper and they tape them all up, and then Leahy says that they never leave a sinking ship or something.
Yeah, I think that's later in season 10, but right now it's where Barb is living in Leahy's trailer and not letting him in, and Randy's running the front gate. But for anyone that hasn't watched Trailer Park Boys, please go watch that great production. Jose doesn't agree, but it's fantastic.
It's probably one of the worst shows ever created.
Brandon and I, that's probably one of our favorite shows.
Yeah, it's elite. I agree with Brum. What's also elite so far is I'm having no internet issues, but now that I say that, they're probably going to start firing in.
Yep. You just love jinxing things, don't you?
I do.
I didn't even think about that. Your internet is elite tonight.
It's firing on all cylinders.
Jeez, man, look at you. Speaking of elite things, we can start a little bit by talking about. We'll talk some Sooner fall camp. I mean, how cool was it that Oklahoma is over at the rugby fields? And I guess actually, I'll take that back. Let's. You're right, Eric. You're definitely right. So there is a T-shirt, and Jose, I believe that you have linked it in this YouTube video.
It is.
Yeah. So if you want to give some background information on that, I mean, we've talked with a local guy that produces. I don't
know if I have liquor drinks, but I'll go grab some claws out of the fridge. Do claws suffice?
I have a bottle of tequila right there, so I can
grab it
if you grab it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go grab some claws right quick, boys.
All right, while Brum does this.
Yeah. So basically, there's a T-shirt that is linked in the description of our video, and the company has reached out to us to basically promote this T-shirt with Brent Venable's wife going through some medical issues with breast cancer and things like that. They are putting together these shirts and selling them, and having all proceeds going to cancer research in Mrs. Venable's name. So with Red Dirt, is it Red Dirt?
Red Dirt T-shirts.
Red Dirt T-shirts.
Try to share my screen here.
Okay.
So to show off the shirt real quick, let's see if it even works.
Yeah. So go ahead. Try to share your screen, but it's Red Dirt T-shirts. There we go. Okay, look at that.
There we go. Look at that. $20.
That's a high production. $20. All the proceeds go to cancer research and Mrs. Venable's name. So we've been reached out to help promote this, and wearing this at maybe the first game, but obviously you can't have OU's logo on it and things like that due to branding issues and whatnot. So if you guys would like to, you're more than support that and encourage you to do so. It's a pretty cool promotion. You'll see it on Twitter. Some other people will be promoting it and stuff, but and we're hoping to work with Red Dirt T-shirts also on getting our own merch made as well. So we're in the process of doing that. So, but yeah, September 2nd. So it's got the dates for wearing the first game this fall.
Yeah.
So just at least, Sammy's in here. Sammy, go ahead and put the website in. Sammy is the owner or co-owner of Red Dirt t-shirts. So go ahead and throw that in the chat as well, Sammy. And we've got it in the description of this live stream as well. So
it's a better pink t-shirt than this one. And this pink t-shirt has been a hit on this show.
Yeah. Look at that. 500 orders in the past 24 hours.
That's awesome.
That's elite right there. Brandon was
talking
about elite. That's pretty darn
That doesn't suck.
Things that don't suck. That statistic right there.
Yeah. Oh, Jen is asking, are we going to see This Doesn't Suck shirt?
Don't
could we ever? We'll see.
Sammy is hard at work right now, so we'll let him get us something. But so yeah, it's in the works, and look at that, 5,000 to 10,000.
All right, let's push those limits. Let's get to that 10K mark then.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get talking about some Sooner football, some actual football. We'll get into recruiting here in just a little bit, but I've been, reading and watching some interviews and practice highlights and things like that. And it's good to see that Oklahoma's over at the rugby fields. That football is literally right around the corner. I mean, we're talking, the first game for college football in general is like 20, 21, 22 days away. And we're like 24, 25 days away from actual Sooner football. We're right there. So looking at it, it seems like I watched the Drake Stoops clip today, and they were asking him about, how are you feeling being in this, this is coming in your second year. How's Dylan Gabriel doing? Things like that. And it seems like, this is not shocking, it seems like everyone's more comfortable with the system. They're playing faster. They're playing more relaxed. They know what they're doing. I don't want to buy into I always buy into the hype. About this time of year, I always buy into the hype of like, man, Oklahoma could go win the national championship. But Oklahoma's going to be better than it was last year. That's for sure. Looking at Drake Stoops, hearing what he has to say, it seems like he's a consistent performer. It seems like maybe a Nick Anderson is also contributing. I'm high on Andrew Anthony, but it seems like he might be a little dinged up.
So you're not going to talk about Jaquez Petaway getting a shot.
Well, and I'm literally making my way through.
I just got to make sure you get it in there. Yeah. I've been on that, guys.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you've been on.
I've been on that wagon for a while.
Mm-hmm. And then Jaquez Petaway seems to be making some plays. So, Brandon, since you jumped in, I will turn it over to you. What are some of your thoughts on the receiver room, so far? And opinions on anything on the offense.
We're gonna stick with what we talked about in the wide receiver breakdown video we put out there. I still think it's gonna be, a lot of Jalil Farouk, Drake Stoops, and Gavin Freeman in the slot, and then we picked Angelo Anthony as the other guy. Maybe he's a little banged up, and that's the opportunity that Jaquez needed. And I've been reading that Jaquez is running with the ones a little bit, and granted it's a little bit, and it's still early on, but Jaquez Petaway is going to be a playmaker this season.
Stink-ass Cat is real.
Stink-ass Cat is awesome. Also a great name. I'm going to change my Xbox name to Stink-ass Cat if you're okay with it.
Yeah. Jose, what do you think?
Sorry, I had to mute myself there for a second. Overall, it's like you said, it's not a surprise. The offense should be just as good as last year. I don't know if you can expect better because that
just as good. It should be better.
The offense was good last year. Like they were weren't they top 20 in the country? Might have even been better than that. I just don't remember the exact spot. If you just have a okay defense, like this team can be very good. Wide receiver wise, like Brandon said, I'm sticking to what I said in our video from last Thursday. I think at some point Jaquez will get his opportunity this season. I don't foresee it being right off the bat. And if it is right off the bat, then Brandon should get the credit because that guy's been on that bandwagon since the moment Jaquez committed and he was calling him Jaquezy Go Crazy.
I still wish his name was Jaquezy. I'm still hurt by it. Because then we could have some Jaquezy Go Crazy t-shirts.
Exactly. But, there's still a lot of time between now and then. If we think back to last year, we were hearing this similar kind of hype about Jaren Kanak. And not that he didn't deserve it, but the hype doesn't translate into the actual football season. So I hope that he plays a lot this year, and I think that Venables mentioned he learned from not playing young players enough, but I don't have the expectation that he'll be a big contributor right off the bat. Shout out Jen.
Yeah, shout out Jen.
Jen,
That's awesome.
We really appreciate it. I know I've seen you. You've been watching our videos for
Jen's a real
literally
one too. Yep.
for a year
Since the dawn of
plus.
time.
And Brantley, we appreciate. I'm glad that we're your number one favorite sport. You two, we're going to try to keep the ball rolling. But again, we appreciate everything. You guys watching and donations. Of course, you don't have to, but we definitely appreciate it. Another thing, talking about, the wide receiver room, there's a lot of things up for debate or in the air and things like that. Jalil Farouk looks like the bona fide number one guy. He is that guy. Jose was on our breakdown, was a little unsure. I think he is that guy. But then moving on to the defense and talking about the defensive line, that's like one of the biggest question marks, probably actually more so. I mean, I don't know. It's like 1A, 1B with the defensive line and the wide receivers. But I was eating dinner. I saw on the news, they did an interview with Rondell Bothrid, who's a friend of the program, been on the show, as Brandon likes to point out.
But you can't forget that part.
I know. And so it seems like that Bothrid is going to be moving around the defensive line. There is a lot of depth that Miguel Chavis has. It seems like there's a lot of flexibility. I think with the move of, a few guys to the interior, like Jonah Lalalu going interior, I think he's up to nearly 300 pounds. I think he's like 295, 296. I can't remember where I read that, but he is, kind of a guy that can play inside now. And it seems like he's really taken that next step. Bothrid's kind of going all over. It seems like if Trace Ford, and it's always been a thing with Trace Ford, if he can just stay on the field, he can really contribute. It seems like he's playing well. It seems like, and I hate to buy into the hype, but on paper, it makes a lot of sense why this defensive line will take the next step this year. And I'm not saying it's going to be the best defensive line in the country, but it's going to be better than it was last year. I mean, they have to get more sacks than they did last year. Jose, what do you think?
My bad. We'll do a breakdown video for the defensive line room at some point, but you gotta, if you listen to Todd Bates' interview during the media day when fall camp first opened, he talked about how just physically this defensive line room is significantly, I think he said girthier than last season, which isn't a funny word to use, but it's true. I mean, you got way more 300-pound guys. And when you looked at last season, I know Brandon wasn't here, but I think he's been able to see a little bit of last year's games. When you had a three-man front, you were just getting pushed around. Now the hope is now that you have bigger guys or girthier guys, that's not going to be an issue that you're going to face a lot. Hopefully never, but some of these offensive linemen are pretty big. K-State's got a good, pretty big offensive line, so you got to be prepared to go after these guys, and it's just like it's starting to go on an incline. And like you said earlier, we'll talk about recruiting in a bit, but this defensive line should be better than last year.
I think it's one of the deepest positions on the team, if not the deepest. We've talked about this before off air and stuff, but I think with the transfers and stuff, you mentioned Trace Ford, friend of the show, Rondell Bothrid. I can't think of the Tennessee transfer right now. The big guy in the middle we got from Tennessee. You're muted.
Oh, my fault. Deshaun Terry. Jeez.
Yes, but he's girthy as hell. If we want to talk about girthy, that's a big boy right there. I think the transfers on the D line are going to be probably some of the biggest contributors on the team, and that's going to contribute to the defensive line being, I think, one of the most successful position groups on the team this season.
I agree. Jose, it looks like if you want to click on Jacob Matthews actually asked us a question.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Jacob. We'll cover this now. So if we get 3 5-stars, how much playing time do y'all think they get, and who potentially gets pushed down on the depth chart? Well, I guess you got to think about who's going to be graduated by that point. Trace Ford, Is he coming in? I think is he coming in with 1 year or 2?
Last year of eligibility.
Okay, 1. Looking at Bothrid's coming in with 1, I believe, right? Could Ethan Downs have a good year and go? Deshaun Terry, does he have any?
I'm pretty sure every defensive lineman, maybe except for Lacey, came in with 1 year left.
Yeah.
Even maybe Lacey only has a year left, assuming he comes back this season, because he could get an extra year.
Yeah. As far as who will get pushed down the depth chart, I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. I'd have to really think about it, because I'd have to think about who's on there next year. But who could come in and play immediately? I mean, I think on the interior is where you see immediate contributions. I mean, I think David Stone, he's going into his senior year, obviously, at this point, and he gets another year at IMG, assuming that, of course, he commits and plays at Oklahoma. He could be near that 300-pound mark. The interior of that defensive line is the biggest issue, and you lose Deshaun Terry, and you bring in Jaden Jackson, and I'm not saying that Jaden Jackson, he isn't a 5-star, but that's a guy that's going to fill a role immediately, already over 300 pounds. How much do they realistically play between Williams Nwaneri and Dominic McKinley? McKinley would probably immediately contribute as well. They're in the rotation. I don't know. I mean, probably each one plays 10% of the snaps, maybe.
You think they'd get more snaps than 2023 5-star PJ Adebore?
No, but that's not the same position. PJ's on the outside.
Yeah, I think around 10%. For a couple of them on the interior. I do think PJ will see the field this year. It's just really tough to kind of gauge exactly how much, but I don't think any of them will redshirt. I'll put it that way. I don't think any of those 5-stars would redshirt, and I don't think PJ's redshirting this year either. And Peyton Bowen isn't either.
2023 already seems to have a big impact, and 24 is going to have the biggest impact on the defensive line. I think basically all of them will play at least a little bit. I would be surprised if David Stone isn't, assuming, like you said, signs and plays for Oklahoma. I'd be surprised if he's not a starter halfway through his freshman year, because of the weakness of the interior of the offensive line. And even Dominic McKinley, he could be a guy that contributes, maybe not starts, because you do have some experience there in the current defensive line room, and you also have Grayson Halton, who could be a contributor this year and going into year 3 under this coaching staff, could have a big year as a junior. You would still have Kelvin Gilliam potentially. I'm assuming, obviously it's hard to predict any sort of people transferring out, but assuming the younger guys, 2022, 2023, stick around, you'll have guys with experience there. I just think David Stone is this guy should be playing a lot as a true freshman. Jaden Jackson potentially because of the role that he would play for this defensive line. I think Williams Nwaneri, and we'll talk about his recruitment a little bit more later. That one seems to be an easy fit. He'll play probably a similar role to what PJ plays this upcoming year, because next year you'll have PJ on one side and R. Mason Thomas on the other. And then your backups would potentially be, if they don't end up leaving to the NFL or transfer portal, Ethan Downs and Reggie Grimes are still on this team next in 2024. So you've got good rotation. Maybe he'll be more a situational guy, pass rushing opportunities for him to get after the quarterback.
I will say, if Reggie Grimes doesn't play a lot this year, I think he could be a transfer casualty.
Portal candidate, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. So before we go right all into recruiting, the last thing I want to talk about some practices and some of the things I've been reading and watching some videos and things like that. It seems like the cornerback room and the defensive back room is extremely competitive as far as the depth goes. And I don't think that shocks any one of us here. It seems like Josiah Wagner, and we've been hearing Josiah Wagner's name for months now, that he is making plays as a true freshman, and it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. Not a shock, but Reggie Pearson's playing well, and some other guys as far as maybe a Kenai Walker. It really seems like Gentry Williams is playing well as well. I mean, it seems like that defensive back room is going to be quite a bit different than it has been, in the last 5 years. You could see a Josiah Wagner being in the rotation just because they can't keep him off the field. Brandon, do you have any thoughts on the defensive back room? I mean, Brandon Hall and Coach Falai are recruiting and developing players, and it feels good that we can see the development. We haven't even played a real game yet, but I'm confident that they're improved.
No, it's going to be good. I think the defensive back room in general is going to be good. I mean, you look at Josiah Wagner's a guy that just everybody talks about. He's going to probably play a decent amount of snaps this year. I think that Reggie Pearson is going to be big this year in the safety spot after, potential whatever. He's going to be on the field a lot. I think he's going to contribute right away. I think Peyton Bowen's going to play. Yeah, I mean the DB room is going to be a lot better.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm muted or not. I would agree. And you got a lot of competition there. And Blake is mentioning it here, like probably one of the biggest questions going into this fall. Will Peyton Bowen get to start / get a lot of playing time, have a significant role? You would assume so. I mean, Brent Venables has been raving about the guy every time he gets asked about Peyton Bowen. Talks about how easy football comes to him. You just got to assume that if he knows the playbook well enough, he'll be on the field. When, how much, that's the biggest question mark, right? Because you have Billy Bowman there. You brought in a transfer in Reggie Pearson, who is a big hitter and probably someone you want to have there next to Billy Bowman, because you'd probably like to keep that guy healthy. If you look at last season, once Billy Bowman went down with an injury, the defensive backs kind of took a big hit when their efficiency, and not that they were amazing, but if you were average or slightly below average and then your best player goes down, you go down to kind of suck. So you don't want to get back to that position, right? And if something were to happen like that again, I think Peyton Bowen would be the clear starter to get the to back up or fill in that role for Billy. I think for the first three, the non-conference games, it's going to be that typical. You're going to see a lot of mixing and matching. Which duo for the safety is going to be best? Which cornerback duo is going to be best? How is the rotation going to be for the defensive linemen? I think the linebackers is probably the most solidified position. It seems, I mean, even Brett Venable said it himself. Outside of Danny Stutzman, all those other positions are still up for grabs, but you got to assume that Deshaun McCullough is probably the cheetah to start the year. And then Jaron Kanik, because he's the most familiar with the playbook going into year two. Guy with a lot of potential. One game he did get to play a significant amount of time, led the team in tackles. You've got them, and then you got a good room of backups there for the linebackers. So a lot of competition. Tough to say exactly who's going to start, but whoever does start is clearly going to be the best. It's not going to be they just weren't the worst.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I just want to shout out Jordan. He got offered his dream job, but he'd be working Saturdays. That's good, but I feel for you. That's rough. To be
Can't take it.
Saturdays. Congrats, but you'll be watching the game on your phone as you're working, whatever you're doing. Checking the score every few minutes. I know I would. It'd be tough, but congrats on that. But yeah, the linebacker room. We got another question that Harrington or McCullough starting. I think we all agree that McCullough is going to start. I mean, he is extremely talented. I do think Harrington will contribute. I think he will be much improved than he was last year. That's not saying a whole lot, but I think he will be much better now that he's found his home and his position that he has in this defense. And I just got to take a minute. We're at 177 according to what I see live. 180. Okay,
Yeah,
180
going
watching. Let's get to 200. If you hadn't already, be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Now 182. And again, we go live every Tuesday night at 8. We might be shifting it back to 8:30, just depending on some scheduling. But we'll be sure to let you guys know. Actually, I guess next Tuesday will be at 8:30.
Yeah, next Tuesday we got to push it back a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to be shifting it back to 8:30. I hope that's no issue for anyone. Yeah, I agree. So talking about, I guess the last bit is the offensive line. It seems like it's been pretty solidified. They're playing well. With gosh, I'm trying to think of everyone's name. Savion Bird seems to be playing well. It seems like Rain is playing well.
He's been solid for a while.
Yeah, he really has been. Guyton's one of the guys.
Guyton to help you out here a little bit. Guyton on the right, McCade Metzauer right next to him as the right guard. Andrew Rame as the center. Left guard is up in the air. That's could be Savion, could be the transfer Caleb Schaefer, and left tackle is Walter Rouse.
Walter Rouse, yep. And it seems like I saw an article today that apparently his shoulder's feeling great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it seems like Walter Rouse is feeling pretty darn good. His shoulder's feeling good. The fact that they're able to kind of solidify, 4 out of the 5 positions already, it must mean that they feel comfortable with where everything's at. And
how'd the line play last year along the offensive front? Was it shaky? Was it good?
I think the beginning of the year was a little shaky, but they got better. At the end of the year, you were like, yeah, this is probably the best part of this team. And
then they roll forward. Yeah, again, as long as they're coached by Bill Bedenbaugh, I have faith. But I don't know. Was McCade Metzauer good? He was a guy I was excited about before he had to leave.
He was probably the most inconsistent out of all.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly,
Right.
That was the little bit of he was getting rotated with Conjal, just depending on the games and quarters and things like that. There were some ups and downs, but I would imagine he's taken a step this offseason. So, all right. So, do you guys have any more thoughts on, actual fall practice or anything, or should we go into what everyone probably clicked on this video to?
One last thing before we get to the big stuff, the coaches poll and Joel Klatt's preseason rankings, because he actually seems to watch football, unlike some of these media members. Oklahoma for Joel Klatt was 16, and the coaches poll had Oklahoma at 19. I think after last season, that's could be a little generous. I think you're hoping for a lot of turnaround. Like the biggest thing that Joel Klatt mentioned was Oklahoma lost 5 games by 1 possession. If they can just fix that problem, you're looking at a 10-win team, a 10 or 11-win team, based on last season. I don't expect it to be perfect, but if you win half of those 9 wins, you're in a much better spot. And two of those losses were without Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah,
the defense should be much improved. Much improved.
There's really no way. I guess there is a way. It's really hard to imagine that Oklahoma goes 0-5 in one-score games. It's just like your Minnesota Vikings last year, going 9-0 in one-score games.
I think we're gonna suck.
Yeah, it's almost hard to even believe that even happens one way or another, where you're winning or losing them all. So I really think if Oklahoma puts it all together, I think the bottom is nine wins for the regular season. I think 9-3. I'm certainly hoping for 10-2 or better, of course. But I think it's a fair ranking. I agree with you, Jose. And I like that we're not having a lot of hype coming into this. And I know people have been drawing comparisons that in the preseason polls in 2000, Oklahoma was 19. Therefore we're going to go win a national title. I would love that.
They're drawing a lot of comparisons. Second-year quarterback, second-year head coach, being the preseason coaches poll. Like, there was a lot of things that were similar. And history
better than being negative, yeah.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. It's better than being negative Nancy.
Sunshine pumping is always a good thing.
Yeah, until people can say, look at that, you were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're always wrong.
More times than not. No, I wouldn't say more times than not, but yeah.
Left-handed quarterback, there's another one. Like, a lot of comparisons to the 2000 team. So
it's really odd, though. It's really
It
weird.
is very odd. A lot of things are similar to that time. So hopefully history does repeat itself.
Yeah, I guess any overall thoughts outside of Oklahoma, being ranked where we're at.
The only overall thoughts I can gather is what we talked about before the show, and it's not related to Oklahoma, so we're not going to talk about it for very long. But Utah being behind USC on both polls is the dumbest shit of all time.
Well, they have that guy named Caleb Williams.
They had him last year too.
The only reason.
Well, I'm just saying they had him last year too. They still have that guy named Alex Grinch too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is the reason why they are ranked ahead.
And it's fine. It's all going to work out. I also think Florida State's pumped up there a little too high. They had quite an easy schedule last year if you go back and look. And I know Oklahoma lost last year, but Oklahoma's also, was not that great. So it's not like, it's a big feather in their cap. So, I don't know. I'm glad that they kept Georgia number one because it's kind of hard for me to believe that, you as a national, defending national champion, you should probably start out at number one. So,
yeah, back-to-back defending national champions. There's no reason to not be number one.
And I don't buy them. I mean, I think Michigan will be good. I just have a hard time believing that they're legitimately going to be able to go win one. Got Harbaugh going buying hamburgers and then lying about it.
Fucking burgers, man. That'll get you in trouble.
Like Randy from Trailer Park Boys.
Like Randy from Trailer Park Boys. I think he's like at least 6 double cheese.
Yeah. So, all right. Half hour. Let's get into some actual recruitment talk. So, I guess the most, the closest commitment date for recruitment, or in the recruitment world that Oklahoma's at least been talking to is Caden Durham. And he's announcing on the 10th, so that's Thursday. And it's just been announced that Colin Simmons is going to also announce with him. They've always been boys. They're always kind of seem to be as a pair. Eric, I have to stop.
Eric, oh my.
Man.
That's big time. What a guy.
Yeah. We really appreciate it, Eric.
And he just guaranteed you to win the Big 12, so it's going to happen now.
It's going to happen. That is awesome. But Caden Durham, Colin Simmons are both announcing it. From the outside looking in, it looks like LSU is going to be the landing spot for both of those.
Which we talked about before the show, and this is a question for the chat too, question for you guys. Would you rather have landed Caden Durham's commitment if it meant Colin Simmons goes to Texas, or the way it's shaping up? Because I agree with you, Brown, with them announcing at the same time and being friends and all this stuff, they're going to go out there and announce that they're both going to LSU at the same time. So the question is it better for us to get Durham and Simmons goes to Texas, or is it better they both go to LSU? And then we don't have to worry about him in Texas.
I started thinking about it. It's actually better that we would have gotten Durham because Texas underachieves every year, and LSU is going to achieve to where they're supposed to achieve.
That's fair.
And we're gonna have to play those dickheads anyways. Probably by the time they're actually on the starting roster, we'll pull LSU.
Yeah.
He's not at Texas at least.
They're not at Texas, which it's always fun to watch them be miserable. But either way, we're playing them.
Yeah. No, that is true. So, I mean, Durham, it is what it is. If there was a position that Oklahoma's going to lose a top recruit at, it's never great to lose, but the running back room is definitely a position of strength when you land the number one running back and you get Xavier Robinson, and then hopefully later this.
Do you think at the end of the day that's the reason Caden Durham is not going to commit to Oklahoma? I mean, we think he's going to LSU. Is that Taylor Tatum goes there, he doesn't want to go there anymore?
I think that Oklahoma doesn't feel like they have to take him, or they are not pressing him as hard.
There's 200, by the way.
Oh man!
Hell yeah, 200.
201.
Cheers to that.
2 Plain Sports Community. Here we go, host.
Yeah. Again, like and subscribe. Look at those two. They got the liquor drinks flowing.
One of these days, Brum might drink with us. Like even just
300,
but one day.
Crazy night.
Maybe get wild.
If we get to 300, Brum has to go find something of alcohol in his house. Content. I would assume you've got at least one beer.
You got any mouthwash?
I do have some of that.
I had just a quick segue, real quick, because some of the mouthwash says alcohol in it and stuff like that. Swear to God, basic training. Like 5 or 6 weeks in, there was like an 18-year-old kid, fresh. He goes, "Drill sergeant, I got a question." And okay, what you got? Can you get drunk off drinking mouthwash? Because whatever.
Yeah.
And then the drill sergeant was like, "What is someone drinking mouthwash to get drunk?" I'm not saying that was happening or not, but that was the question that was asked.
So, that's greasy.
That is greasy as hell.
Oh man, that is rough. That is rough. But yeah, I think Oklahoma. I don't think it's a shock that Durham is trending elsewhere. I hate to say I told us so, but I told us so. And it is what it is. Two 1,000-yard rushers. That'd be pretty elite.
I don't know about all that, but that would be awesome. I think you definitely have one in Javante Barnes. I think Gavin Suchek will be like around the 800 mark, 750.
750, 800.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So, okay, that's the nearest commitment. And then the elephant in the room comes around on the 14th in 2024, 5-star defensive line, Williams Winery. Do you think Oklahoma's got a shot? According to Twitter, it seems like Missouri is leaps and bounds ahead, and Oklahoma's nowhere near. And then according to Georgia, Georgia's ahead, and then according to Oklahoma, Oklahoma's ahead. And it always seems to be Oklahoma is involved in all these, the common denominator. It seems like Williams Winery is telling at least Oklahoma, Missouri staffs and reporters, it seems like everyone's kind of getting fed the information that they want to hear. Like it's kind of a staff calls and it's like, yep, hey, I like you guys and all this stuff. And it feels like he's keeping everyone off.
This is
track.
This is one of the recruitments, seriously, that makes you like hate how much we are involved in this stuff. Because at the end of the day, Williams Winery is a 16 or 17-year-old kid, and we are all locked the hell in on where he's going to make his college decision, and we're going to be happy or devastated on that outcome, and it's up in the air. It's we felt really good. Now we feel it's iffy. Now it's going to go back and forth all the way. I think what sucks about it is I was reading that they're kind of cutting off his communication with his coach Mosey at LSN, and that obviously isn't good for Oklahoma because he's probably pushed him towards Oklahoma. Missouri's location is better, and the NIL is what I'm reading is could look better. But Oklahoma's going to offer that too. They're going to match it. But I think Oklahoma's relationship with Williams Winery is still stronger than what he has at Missouri. We'll see. But it's going to suck because we don't know, and it's close.
If Williams Winery picks Missouri, that Twitter, you're gonna have to stay off Twitter. It's gonna be a full-on meltdown. Jose, you're muted.
You're gonna have to stay off your phone. Don't just turn it off. Miss every phone call. Tell your mom you can't talk to her today. It's not gonna be worth it to be near the internet that day.
But okay, I'll put it to you guys this way. Do you think if Oklahoma goes 1 for 2, loses out on Winery, and gets Stone, is that successful? Is that a successful month?
Because go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, do you think people are going to agree with that? Because I think it's a success. If you can land 1 out of 2 5-stars, that's the bare minimum.
How many 5-star defensive linemen did we land under the previous regime?
Technically, Clayton Smith.
He was a linebacker, whatever. Even if we give you that one, this class already has, or this regime already has PJ Adebore. You land David Stone, that's another one. McKinley, that would be a third. And then plus, beyond even that, you've got guys who are not technically rated 5-stars, but I think they're very elite players, and guys like Nigel Smith, who's trending very, very well for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's hot on Danny Okoye, who I think, friend of the show, Danny Okoye, is going to be probably, and this is going to sound crazy, but if you look at everything he's about, that dude is shredded. He's got the right mentality. He's going to be a hell of a football player. I think if Danny Okoye commits to Oklahoma, he could be better than anybody we talk about on the defensive line as far as recruiting goes from this class.
Yeah. Speaking of Okoye, you should reach out to him. We should get him on the show. And
we can do that. We can do. I mean, we can try to text him and see if we can
get him back
get another
on.
Danny Okoye show.
Yeah.
I think he'd be down.
Yeah. The problem is that the state of Missouri has basically decided that high school athletes can also get paid. You don't have to be a collegiate athlete, which is kind of bullshit. Like, that you're... I think... So, I've been listening to a lot of Joel Klatt's podcasts recently, because he's kind of bringing... You know, he's coming back. College football's coming back, so he's kind of become more... He has more information that I think is pretty entertaining in his podcast. And something he talked about with the SEC commissioner, Sankey, is how NIL is a good thing, but it's being extremely mishandled. Because you have... I mean, let's just think about the people closest to these 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. You have their friends that could potentially influence them to do something fucking stupid. Their parents who could be a little greedy and not think about their kid's future, could lead them to doing fucking stupid shit. Their coaches, if they're influenced by one coach more than another at the collegiate level, if they're guaranteed some sort of assistance when it comes to, you know, financial aid for the school, or maybe they get a position upgrade. I don't know, whatever it could be. That could hurt the kid. There's no regulations. Like, when you look at the NFL, every agent has to be approved by the NFLPA. Agencies have to be approved by the NFLPA. Like, they protect these professional athletes from people that are going to be taking advantage of them. But the NCAA and the states aren't really helping these kids to do this in the smartest way possible. Like, they're just kind of letting them get taken advantage of.
Danny Okoye commits to Oklahoma, and he can't get paid until what? He's on campus?
Until he's Oklahoma athlete. So yeah, when he enrolls to OU, that's when his NIL starts.
And he can get paid from Missouri right away, right now.
If Winery gets signs with an in-state college, university, what I've seen is he can start collecting money from as of September 1st.
September 1 of
this year. So all he has to do is stay in state, and he can start collecting on that NIL, which makes it harder for him to leave, right? Because you would assume that these NIL collectives have something to protect kids from leaving after collecting money. Either they have to repay it, which OU is playing the NIL game, so you would be able to repay it. But when let's just say it's like $60,000, not an enormous amount where it's going to be like all his NIL for all year or all 4 years, but it's going to be a significant amount of money where he's going to be like, I'm not going to pay that back. I'll just stick with it for this year and try to leave later, if that's even an option for him.
Yeah, and you know, I've been seeing some comments also. You know, just because if he chose Missouri over Oklahoma, that doesn't mean that Oklahoma's not going to continue to recruit him. You know, they will continue, and again, any stipulations, I'm sure Oklahoma, within reason, would be willing to accommodate what I guess he's asking for. And I guess the same could be said about Missouri. You know, if he commits to Oklahoma, I don't think Missouri's going to step down or, you know, lay down because of that. And so just because he commits one way or another here on Monday doesn't mean that's ultimately where he's going to, you know, sign in December. But I feel like Oklahoma, when you take a step back and you look at the programs objectively, the connections of the Kansas City players, you know, that have gone to Oklahoma or will go to Oklahoma, you know, you look at a Caden Green, PJ Adebores from the KC Metro. You've got Mosey, you know, Coach Mosey, Isaiah Mosey, who's, you know, in the 2025 class. And then you just landed a commitment in the 2025 class for Kamari Moore. So the connections are extremely strong to Oklahoma. It's kind of becoming a pipeline, which is great because the KC Metro is full of great talent that it seems like historically the Big Ten kind of goes and gets, and some in the SEC as well. So Oklahoma's really establishing that. When you look at that And then you look at how long Oklahoma's been recruiting him, and it's been the perceived leader. I have a hard time believing that you can put in all this work for, year and a half, and then at the last second lose all of it, like in a flash. I mean, it can happen. And then when you look at also the performance of the football teams in the last 10 years, I mean, as Missouri's probably had like one 10-game winning season. And I know
season.
Yeah, okay, the Drew Lock season. And Oklahoma
What a baller
had a down
that guy
year.
is.
Yeah, he's a character. That guy was something. But Oklahoma had one down season, and you look in the last 10 years, Oklahoma's been consistent, winning Big 12 titles, playing the college football playoffs, and the opportunity to go play. They can both play in the SEC, but Oklahoma is obviously one of the premier programs, and also that Missouri coaching staff is probably going to fight and try to get him as bad as they can, because their jobs are up for potentially getting fired at the end of this year. But if they can hold on to this 5-star defensive line and they go 7-5, they might be able to squeak by and survive another offseason. If they lose Williams-Nwaneri and they go 7-5, 6-6, they're gone. And Brent Venables, I know people are saying he could get on the hot seat. He's not going to. Oklahoma's going to play well this year, and Oklahoma's going to be on the upward trajectory. And I just think when you sit back and you look at it objectively, Oklahoma's playing the NIL game. I just think Oklahoma is the spot. And I think he's just keeping people guessing, and it's getting people like us and
He's
everyone
doing a
that's
great
watching
job at that.
to be talking about him. Those are my thoughts. I think he's going to Oklahoma, and I'll eat crow if I'm wrong.
I also think it's OU. I just think NIL is bullshit to an extent. These kids should get paid, but there should be some sort of protections so they don't get taken advantage of by people close to them or randoms. There's no way, people that donate that much money to collectives aren't stupid. They have to have something that protects them from keeping that cash. If a kid, let's say Nwaneri does commit to Missouri, right? And then in December he says, you know what, never mind, I'm actually going to go to Oklahoma. If he's already collected money, how are they going to get that back from him? There's got to be something that protects them from something like that happening. I just think there needs to be some sort of reform with the NIL stuff. They let them get paid, but don't fucking screw these kids over.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's the typical NCAA. It's just common sense. It just isn't. The NCAA and common sense don't go in the same sentence, other than with the word "do not have common sense." The phrase "do not have." And then, so talking about another 5-star defensive line, I know his commitment date hasn't been announced, and we can talk David Stone here, but I saw a couple comments talking about Dominic McKinley. And McKinley, it seems like it's OU, LSU, and Texas seem to be the three schools. And recently, I believe in the last 4 days, there's been at least one crystal ball for McKinley in favor of Texas. And I think that LSU is definitely playing behind the 8 ball here. I think it's pretty much an OU Texas race as it stands right now. Obviously, LSU is always going to be looming with a guy from the state of Louisiana. It's hard to get guys to leave that state. But it's not shocking to me, if McKinley would go to Texas. Because if you think about it, if Oklahoma this month lands both Williams-Nwaneri and David Stone, I mean, that's a stacked defensive line. And there's still, targets out there with Nigel Smith and Danny Okoye and a few other guys that Oklahoma's in the running for, if not the leader, top 2 or top 3. He just might see an easier path to play. The NIL package might be better, but I don't think Oklahoma's out of it. It's just, if Texas struggles this year, watch out. It's almost, why do I say if? When Texas struggles.
Texas should be good, though. We'll see.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think if anyone, McKinley's doing the best job of keeping people out of his business. I think that Texas crystal ball is more of a blind guess from whatever insider put that in, because no one else has put in a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Like normally when one guy does it, you kind of start seeing a flood of predictions one way or another within a few days. It's just been him. And maybe that'll change over the next week. Then you get a better idea. But when you really look at it, no one's ever really known where McKinley's going to be since Oklahoma and Texas really got in this. I think Oklahoma's got a good shot at this. But I think you have to get some momentum going in, like with McKinley.
Yeah.
It's either going to happen, like if Nwaneri does commit to Oklahoma, then maybe McKinley commits between him and David Stone. But if not, then you better hope that you can hold it off till like late August or early September, and hope that, assuming David Stone commits, that momentum helps you land McKinley.
No, agreed. I was going to say the same thing as Brown. If Oklahoma is able to get Nwaneri and Stone, and if he decides to wait until after that, like you said, if we can get it in late August, early September, I don't think there's any I don't think there's any question that he's going to Oklahoma. But he doesn't have a date, so I mean that's the part that's interesting with this recruitment.
It is, I'm not sure. I'm not holding my breath, but at the end of the day, I won't lose sleep if Oklahoma lands who they should land, excluding Dominic McKinley. This could be a historic defensive line class. So going back to kind of the timelines that make sense. August 12th, and sorry, I jumped ahead to Williams when I got a little excited. Jaden Nickens, the wide receiver from the Oklahoma City metro area, is it Millwood High School, I want to say?
Yeah.
He's got a commitment date of August 12th, so that's here in just a couple of days. It seems like he's got a top 8 of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, North Texas, UTSA, Texas A&M, UNLV, and Texas Tech. When I look at that list,
he's coming to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, I just
hold on real quick. Sorry. Sooner Cowboy put that that McKinley was committing on the 7th or the 1st. Sorry, so I did some confirming. A Texas A&M insider confirmed that Dominic will be committing on September 1st.
That's a great date for us if things go well. That's the momentum that you're talking about. If things go to plan, he can sit back and see both of that. And again, I mean, if you're him, and how can you sit back and watch Oklahoma get 2 5-star defensive linemen, assuming things go to plan, and not want to play there? Unless, like you said, Jose, he thinks that it'd be tougher to see the field, or the competition to be a lot stronger. But you can think of what that D line can be if they all teamed up, especially going forward into the SEC against these really good teams. Like, they would be dominant. I think that it's really hard to. I would imagine it'd be really hard to say no to that if you're him, to join that.
It definitely would be hard to say no. But again, at least I got a feeling that it seems to be September 1st, but honestly, the way that this recruitment's been going, and kind of having flashbacks to like Peyton Bowen, where I guess Bowen was really loud, but the thing was, it always seemed like, I think it's going to happen, no public announcement kind of deal. I just could see this dragging on for a little while. I hope it's over in September, but I don't know if that bodes well for Oklahoma. I just would like to know one way or another. But I'm kind of on him. I'm kind of a wait and see, just because his recruitment is so quiet and he keeps people out, which I don't blame him. I think I would do the same. But talking about Jaden Nickens, 6'3", 190-pound wide receiver from Millwood High School in the OKC area, 2025 4-star wide receiver. He's got a top 8. He's announcing on the 12th, so here in just a few days. Emmett Jones, I don't know if there's a position coach that has been hired within the last year that has had the recruitment and the commitments that Emmett Jones has had. I mean, I'm not, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but the crystal balls all favor Oklahoma here. It seems like he's got a lot of momentum coming from the Under the Stars event for the 2025 guys in late July. It seems like Emmett Jones got himself another one.
Yeah.
2020. We talked about it. I don't even remember now. But the turnaround for the wide receiver room is crazy. And the fact that there's 5 in this class, right? There's a 5 in 2024. And then 6 in 24. And then potentially going to be 4 in 25. Like, you basically have... He will have his guys in not very long. And you'll know who his guys are. Like, he's done recruiting in 2025. Once Nickens and potentially Mosey commit, then he can just sit back, keep recruiting those kids to make sure they keep that commitment, and then focus on 2026 in a year.
Yeah, which it's only August, or as we like to say, July 39th.
Oh yeah, July late. I think getting in on Jaden so early is good too, because like Kamari Moore, like that dude is gonna have his pick of the litter. I think by the time it comes around to really his time. But I think with Jaden it'll be the same thing. Right now he doesn't have as many offers as he's going to see, and Oklahoma being in early on this and being able to land this commitment early like they did with Kamari Moore is just big.
It is, and I like where Oklahoma sits here going into a decision here in a few days. This 2025 class could end up being the number 1 class. I haven't done the class calculator, but if they're number 4 right now without his commitment, and if he does indeed commit, he might push them to number 1, if not number 1, right there. So kind of totally different than what we experienced in this last recruiting cycle.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's number 3 without Kamari Moore being ranked. So once he gets a ranking, that'll help.
True. And Lloyd, you're right. OU is putting a big emphasis on locking down the state of Oklahoma, getting those players to commit that, or even preferred walk-ons over full ride scholarships elsewhere. They're putting a full court press, and it takes a little while. You lose a few guys, that you come in late for, like the wide receiver from Owasso who went to Alabama.
Cole Adams,
you lost out on him. Last year, by Job. That one, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Micah Tease, they kind of seem to fumble that one a touch. They teased him. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
But it seems like they're going to do well in the 2025 class. And, it's good to see Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma is producing quite a bit of talent now in the 24 and the 25 class. So, good to see.
All right. Confidence levels for actually even getting 2 of the 5-star defensive linemen.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
Well, like at least a 7, I think, because with Stone it's a 10. And I agree with you guys. I think at the end of the day, Winery is a Sooner. So like
this month, commitments this month. So you think Winery's committing this month, or do you think at the end of December he'll end up signing with Oklahoma?
No, I think he'll commit this month. I'm with you guys. I think at the end, August 14th he will decide Oklahoma. But McKinley's the only one that that's to my and that I'm not super confident in. I think Stone's really confident. Winery is mostly confident. So you do the math on that, you factor him in, like a 7.5.
At the end of the day, and you're saying 1 or landing 2 out of the 5, landing
2 of the 3.
2 of the 3.
If we want to go 3 for 3.
No. I don't think Oklahoma goes 3 for 3. I think I'm gonna put a 6 out of 10. Oklahoma should land 2 out of 3. I'll put it to you that way. But weird things happen, and obviously we have a little PTSD from last year with DJ Hicks. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think 6 out of 10 for me to land 2 of the 3, and that would be quite a month. I do think Winery commits to Oklahoma this month.
I'm gonna go with a 5 because
Damn.
it seems like Stone is like that's the one. Oh, you should get and probably will get. Waneri, I just think if this was the other way around, right? If Waneri was for the longest time all in on Missouri, and then Oklahoma was starting to, like the smoke for Oklahoma was starting to heat up like it is right now for Missouri and Waneri's recruitment, all of us would be like, if there's smoke, there's fire. He's going to be a Sooner. It's a lock. And that's why, like, I'm trying to look at it more objectively for him. There's a lot of smoke there. And he's been relatively quiet for most of his recruitment, so it could be a lot of trying to keep people off his back and just telling what you said earlier, telling people what they want to hear. But it's a lot of smoke. And I think there's still a good chance that this isn't going to be a recruitment. Like, Waneri's recruitment is not going to be over till December. But even just looking at the next 6 days, the decision isn't... I think Wolfong said earlier, either today or yesterday, in one of the 247's live streams, that he spoke with Waneri and said that when Waneri said he basically knows where he wants to go. Which, if you take it for face value, plus the recent Futurecast and crystal balls that have been going in for Missouri, Missouri has the momentum in his recruitment. So it's hard for me to ignore that. I do think Oklahoma's going to push hard for the next 6 days and try to get him to and secure his commitment on the 12th or 14th, whatever it is. I just think this is going to be a nail biter all the way till the day he makes his official announcement, and even still through the football season. Because then if it is the race between Oklahoma and Missouri, the other school is hoping that you have just an absolutely terrible season where he has to reconsider what he's about to do for his collegiate career.
So, who is he committing to right now as we sit on, here Tuesday evening? Who do you think he's committing to on Monday? If you were betting.
I was betting on it. I would pick Missouri. I think it's tough to... Because like I said, if we just look at it the other way...
So does that mean on Monday you're not going to have your phone on at all, or you're going to turn it off?
I will. It will be turned off all day. I didn't even think, like, if it was the other way around and Oklahoma was getting all the momentum, like Missouri is right now, we would all be over the moon. Like, we were like, when we're 100% lock, it's happening. And then maybe we would get blindsided and he ends up being a Tiger. But so, I mean, hopefully that's the case where Missouri's going to get blindsided on Monday and he picks Oklahoma. But I just think there's too much smoke right now.
All right, so Hose is picking Mizzou. Right,
unfortunately,
I remember a long time ago last year, people were getting after you about being the pessimist, and like there's
always been the pessimist.
The 2023 class is going to be a top 5 class or top 10 class, no way, and then here we are. And
I said no way to a top 5, and they proved me wrong.
I have a theory that Hose is really not an Oklahoma fan. I've said that before on the show. Is he
a closet USC fan?
He's a Trojan. He has been. He's a Lincoln guy like Caleb Williams is.
I'm not, though. I'm trying to look at this as objectively as possible. Because you can't tell me that if it was the other way around, and I can't keep reiterating this enough, if Oklahoma was making this sort of steam to land a big recruit, let's say it was McKinley, right? Everyone thinks he's going to go to LSU. Oklahoma starts getting a lot of steam in the last week and a half of his recruitment. We're all going to be sitting here saying, oh, fuck, LSU's going to get stuffed in a locker. It's Oklahoma. Todd Bates is the GOAT. And we all know it's going to happen. But we're saying that this situation isn't going to be like that for Oklahoma.
Yes.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, how about I flip the script here? So earlier this year in this 2024 Classic, Xavier Sims seemed like, Oklahoma's the in-town school, in-state school, Oklahoma's being told everything that they wanted to hear. And Oregon's been, Oregon was a player, but it was like, it is what it is. But Oklahoma's the hometown school and that's where he's going. And then boom, where does he go? He goes and plays or he commits to Oregon. I mean, could he be? I mean, he's leading someone on.
He is.
But on the flip side, he could just be doing that just to drive up the price a little bit that Oklahoma's willing to fork out. Negotiations. Keeping the hometown, school in the running. I don't really fully understand why he would go to Missouri, and he very well might, but it's just like he's chasing peanuts whenever, if he would take just a touch less potentially and go to Oklahoma and potentially become a first or second round pick in the NFL draft. I hope he doesn't
see that at 16, 17 though.
Yeah. I'm going to sit here and say I think Nwaneri is an Oklahoma guy.
I hope you're right. I want to be wrong here.
Then Jose will have his phone still Monday. We can text him.
Mm-hmm. Then you guys can all tell me that I'm wrong, and I'll be so happy that I was wrong.
Well, and we'll just have to screen record this and tweet this clip out of Jose claiming.
And something that I've seen now more than once, but Sooner Cowboys keeps bringing it up as if we don't have memories of our own, is I don't think this is anything like DJ Hicks. This is simply like in-state school, like they won for now. I think DJ Hicks was a completely different situation. Almost everyone seemed
different.
I think everyone if you look back to his recruitment and what was reported throughout the recruitment, even leading up to signing day, everyone except for one or two people that were by him wanted him to be a Sooner. And if you believe Parker Thune and Brandon Drum or not, he was silently committed to Oklahoma for like a month and a half. And then last second he picked A&M. Nwaneri's not. Like, for everything that is known and has been reported, he's not silently committed anywhere. It's always been... Missouri was always going to be in it. And I think the three of us agreed from the beginning. Missouri was going to be in this recruitment till the end. And they've done a hell of a job doing it.
I think Missouri is dropping bags, though.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's the question you just had. Yeah.
But I don't think bags are... I don't think the money is ultimately going to be what makes that decision. Because if it is, then Oklahoma's not going to go back.
I think if he picks Missouri, though, that kind of is the decision. That is why he did it.
Well, what? Again, like, if he picked Oklahoma, couldn't Missouri say the same thing? Oklahoma just offered a bigger bag? Because we're offering a lot of money.
But I don't think it's going to be as big as Missouri's.
I don't think it's going to be as big as Missouri's. I think Oklahoma has got their limits. And
like Brum said, Missouri's going to do everything they can to keep them because their coaches are about to get their asses canned. So they're going to throw more dollars at this kid.
Yeah, but Oklahoma
Brent
can
Venables'
compete with
job
the
is not in trouble.
finances. Whatever money Missouri's advantage is he can get paid quicker, not how much he can get paid, because he can go anywhere and get whatever money Missouri's going to give him.
Yeah,
he's the number one player in the class, the number one defensive lineman. That kid's going to get all the money he wants and needs.
Yeah, but obviously Oklahoma is playing the game. Kids are committing to play at Oklahoma. The number one running back committed to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is doing what Oklahoma needs to do. And, whether Oklahoma lands Williams Nwaneri or not, we're going to find out here sooner rather than later. But, we're almost at 250 people in here. We're at like 243 according to my count. That's probably our highest peak we've ever hit, since we started doing, this weekly live stream. And we're consistently growing, and we appreciate it. So be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. And remember, we are going live every Tuesday evening, as you're well aware since you are here. But just mark it on your calendars and turn on the notification bell so you know when we go live. But I don't know. Should we take some questions here, guys? What do you think? We give them a few minutes.
Let me go back through the comments here because I stopped looking at them. I got tunnel vision.
tunnel
We're headed
vision,
there.
talking about how big of a Missouri fan you are.
I swear to God, if it was the other way around, we'd all be creaming our jeans about how Oklahoma was about to get the #1 recruit.
We would be creaming our jeans, but because we're sunshine pumpers, you're not.
I'm trying to be realistic. I saw a question mark a second ago. Where the fuck did it go? Okay, back to McKinley. Only down to OU in Texas. Apparently.
I mean, he's from LSU. He's from LSU. He's from Louisiana. I don't think you can ever discount the home team.
I think it's going to be LSU. Personally, I know.
And Brum just picked LSU.
Yeah, I think it's LSU, to be completely honest. Not many kids leave the boot, and I just have a hard time seeing.
All right, this is a different take. I'm sorry for not being able to pronounce your name. Barathram.
Give it a. I was gonna say yeah, and the last name. Give it a go.
Lakshmi Faraha. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it smoothly. Barathram. I got that part.
Yes, I would agree with you. But I guess if Winery does go to Missouri, does Oklahoma then really push for McKinley? Not that they aren't pushing for him right now, but McKinley becomes that much more important. And I think it's Winery, but I do agree. I don't think it's both of them.
I think it's fair, like thinking about it. Because if you lose Winery now, Oklahoma's like hard pressed. You need another one. And McKinley becomes the target there. It just they play different parts of on different parts of the defensive line. So
yeah, Eric just said if Winery doesn't pick OU, I'll donate $1,000 to the Soul Program and Two-Plane's name.
Deal.
Sounds good to me.
Deal.
Sounds good to us. I certainly hope you don't have to donate that money though, because
Shout out Lisa.
Lake girl, baby. I've been a lake girl since day one. Just day one. I actually wore this shirt to. I went to the lake this weekend in Arkansas to see my grandma, and she is. She saw the shirt. I was obviously, and she goes, "Why the hell does your shirt say Lake Girl?" Because she's a little more on the conservative side of things. And I had to explain to her like it's just. I don't think I'm actually. I think she thought she was worried.
We've always been. What was the tweet?
I don't know what the tweet was, so if someone can help us out here, then we might be able to help decipher.
It's a reply to I think Dean Blevins with just a picture of Chavis with a selfie.
I think Parker Thune is probably the guy that, if you're gonna listen to anyone about Winery's recruitment, that like if he gets it right or wrong, I think he's got the best information when it comes. Like he seems to be very plugged into that program, visits them pretty regularly. Like I would trust what Parker Thune says there. So if he tells us that it's Winery to Oklahoma, then fuck me, I guess.
Can we?
Nope.
Well, why'd you say it then?
Any more questions?
That has to be. I mean, that's refreshing to see a picture of Chavis from Parker Thune. Look at us crushing it. This Missouri homer's low-key devastated right now. He's in his feelings.
Devastated. I don't know why I'm the Missouri homer and Brumbaugh isn't the LSU homer. Because that guy's been predicting guys.
Just didn't work out that way. It's the way. No, because at first he started. He was all about
Caden Durham. Caden Durham wasn't. Caden Durham was. Caden Durham wasn't. Now.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I've been saying it for the last month that Durham was going to LSU.
I'm just saying.
That's a fair point. I don't know why we don't attack you for being an LSU homer. Maybe because we're more excited about Williams Winery. he's a 5-star prospect, potentially the best player in the class. Like there's a lot of excitement that goes with Williams Nwaneri. Not to say Caden Durham's not a good football player, because he is, but I mean, everybody in this chat would rather have Williams Nwaneri than Caden Durham. So like you saying that Williams Nwaneri is going to Missouri is going to get you attacked.
Because I hurt your feelings. I'm a Missouri fan. Is that what you're saying?
And a USC fan, because you hurt my feelings about USC before too. And you talk good about them. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Saying anything good about USC is.
Here, here's a couple questions. If OU pulls this off, do you think it's mostly because of moving to the SEC or the new coaching staff? Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer to that question.
Yes. Yeah, that's not wrong. Yes.
It's both. Yes.
Both.
Yeah. I think it obviously helps Oklahoma being in the SEC. But it's definitely partially the staff. But I don't know if the staff could recruit without the SEC. I mean, they can recruit. I take that back. They can recruit, but I just...
I'm going to say, it's just another and for them, Brum. You not hear what Brent Venables said at his media day presser? The SEC is not their sole, recruiting pitch. It's another and. Yeah. And we have the SEC move. It's just this class can recruit. Or this staff can recruit.
This class can recruit.
This class can recruit. I'm sure those guys are doing their own, they're doing their thing too.
Yeah. The another commitment that will be happening is Jose's favorite player and Andy Bass.
Jose, you guys, by the way, he's a big Andy Bass guy. He texts us every day about Andy Bass.
I'm pumped.
Yes, August 24th. It's going to be OU, K-State, and Syracuse. I think Andy Bass is a part of the program, being from Heritage Hall. I think partially because Caden Durham is going elsewhere, and there's a spot for him to go play in that wide receiver or the running back room and potentially play in the slot and be a few other things.
Andy Bass is an underrated football player, a guy that brings a lot to the table, a lot of skill. He can do a little bit of everything. I think he's going to be a bigger get than people would anticipate on the surface.
I would agree. He's gadget guy. He'll be interesting to see how the Levy incorporates into the offense.
If you look at Gavin Freeman, a guy that again another walk on that wasn't super highly touted or wasn't whatever, he decommitted from Texas Tech, came to us, but wasn't super highly touted, and he's a guy that is going to have a significant role in the offense this year. I think Andy Bass is a slightly better version of Gavin Freeman, just with the skill set.
Jacob has tiger blood.
He also said that Jose is tiger blood, I think, earlier.
Well, I mean, Jose has the Missouri tiger blood, and I have the LSU tiger blood.
Hell yeah. I have no tiger blood. They both suck. I hate tigers. Lions are better.
Yep. As I like to say, Grant Bree. No official commitment date, but Oklahoma's still duking it out there with K-State and Nebraska.
That's another one where proximity is hurting the Sooners.
Michael Boganowski. He's between OU and K-State, and it seems like he's really torn. Another proximity, and also his connections to that K-State program.
Well, didn't a K-State coach or one of their coaches, whatever, recruit Mike Wazowski's dad?
Yes.
Back in the day, he's still there. That helps them.
Mike Wazowski's dad.
He did do that.
Yeah, he did, and they've had that relationship for 2 to 3 decades. Yes, John. I bricks. Yes, I know, but I like to say Brie, just the
Grand Prix.
Just to get a reaction. Yeah, it's Grant Bricks. Yeah. And I've been told that if he goes elsewhere, it's because I've mispronounced his name. So I'm just keeping it going. Grant Bree.
It's all your fault, bro.
Yeah, I know. You can blame me. Classic. So, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, Oklahoma's looking pretty strong. Can't complain. So, football's back. NFL preseason.
Football is back.
Yeah. So, well, I don't have anything else. I mean, we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes now. You guys have any final thoughts or, anything, any topic that we've missed? What do you think?
Great job today. Shout
Great
out
job
all you
today.
for watching.
Shout out
Did
all
we
the
get to
donors
250?
too. Yeah, that was awesome. Everything about today was fun. That was good.
Yeah, I don't think we hit 250. I think I saw 242, 245. Well,
So
we were
close.
just there. So maybe next week.
Well, we
hit-
could round up. It's like when someone's 5'11" and a half, they're like 6'6".
Or it's like, it's like if the Sooners get a top 3 class, it's pretty, or top 4 class, it's pretty much top 3, and then you have to, yeah. I mean,
That's not how that one works.
that's rounding down, I guess, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, you can't round down. You only round up. So if it's a 4, it might as well be 5. So then you extra lost. Might be 45 seconds.
extra loss. Yeah. So, well,
No one wants to see a 45-second Space Force ad. That would be awful.
it'd be something, that's for sure. So, well, that's all I've got. And I see, because I brought it up, people are dropping off. So, oh gosh, actually, we just got, well, hang on. Actually, we just got a question.
Alrighty then, Mr. Dillygaff.
Dillygaff, that's a, what is that from? It's a thing. You know what I'm talking about? You guys, have you seen that?
Maybe he can answer that question for you.
Yeah, I'm not 100%.
Do I
sure.
look like I give a fuck? Dillygaff.
Oh,
That's what it is.
nice.
Look at you.
Yeah. Any news on DJ Graham? Have you seen anything specifically, Hose?
I haven't seen anything bad. I would assume in this case, no news is good news. Like, for a while there, people were raving about him. And I think it's because he made the transition pretty easily. I just don't know if he'll actually get playing time this season. Because you've got guys that have been playing the wide receiver position at the collegiate level there in that room. And he's just trying to do a little bit of catching up. If he has eligibility left, maybe next season, like 2024. But I'd have to look at his eligibility because I honestly don't remember what that looks like for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with you, Jose. I think it's just too tough to make that switch, especially with the talented guys we have in that room. It's totally different. I mean, I hope the best for him. I'd like to see him out there a little bit, but I don't think that. Yeah, I agree. I don't.
Yeah. I think it's something that we need to watch over the next couple of weeks. But it seems like, the Nick Andersons of the world, Jalil Farouk, Drake Stoops, and, maybe Andrew Anthony whenever he gets healthy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the title says August. You mean July 39th? Yes, that is correct.
We will correct that next time.
I think that's another idea we got to do. Like, Sooners' favorite month of the year, July, on the front, and then the back just from the very top says July, and then like 365 days right below it.
July never ends here, baby.
At Two Plane Sports, it never ends. So, but
Can't wait for Christmas Day on July,
A lot.
like 150.
yeah.
Nah, it's
So-
gotta be more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that. So, well, that's all I've got. Again, basically we're almost at 200 right now. We had a few people drop off. You guys are great. If you hadn't already, be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. And remember to be tuning in every Tuesday evening. Next week, we'll be going live at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. But if you turn the notification bell on, you get a push notification, so you will not miss it. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And actually, next Tuesday is going to be quite interesting because it could be really good or it could be really bad. That is actually going to be quite a live stream.
There it is. Hold on. Do you see the comment there? We
we
can
go.
fill up a whole shirt with July all of the days. These 2 Plane Sports shirts are going to be something you can only find at 2 Plane Sports. They're going to be, well,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Great game today, fellas.
Yeah, great game. Tuesday is going to be really interesting. That's all I got to say.
It's a good game next weekend too, potentially.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see.
Look
We
forward
might
to
suck.
that matchup.
yeah.
Might suck.
So,
Or
Probably doesn't.
I could be right, or I could be wrong.
between
Either
now
way,
and
I'll
No, it's going to be No, you can't. No, that's how I know you're an actual Missouri homer, because you just said either way you'll celebrate.
Because if I was right, then
What an asshole you are!
But if I was wrong, then my team.
You're gonna celebrate.
I'm classic.
He is the Missouri Tiger. He's a USC Trojan. He's an Oklahoma State Cowboy, probably. He's a Texas Longhorn.
Have you ever watched Skip Bayless? That guy hedges his bets so fucking hard. Have you seen Stephen A. Smith? Colin Cowherd is probably the bestest at this thing.
No,
you gotta hedge
Colin
your bets. Hedge your bets. Hedge them. You're a big hedger. You love hedging bets.
You're like Skip Bayless.
Exactly. That's what I just said.
That's not a good person to be compared to.
Yeah, you're.
What are you talking about? He's about to hang out with Lil Wayne every day.
But you know what? Lil Wayne might one day be a friend of the show. I'll just DM him right now.
And it's gonna be because of me, because I am Skip Bayless. You're welcome.
No.
I'll bring Lil Wayne onto the pod. Don't worry.
No.
Oh, Hose, you
Oklahoma graduate.
Actually, yeah, you do want the beard. That's the thing, is you're secretly hoping that Oklahoma loses out on every recruit so you can keep your little beard.
That would also help. Yeah.
So the beard is more important to him than the Sooners. The USC Trojans are more important to him than the Sooners.
How did the Trojans
Missouri Tigers? Because you just hate everything Oklahoma, is what I'm gathering.
How did the Trojans
Big
have
Lincoln Riley
anything?
guy.
Big Lincoln Riley guy.
No, I'm just trying to
remember when I was talking about how it's ridiculous that Washington is ranked below USC? This man immediately chimed in. They have Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, the GOAT.
I thought
Washington is ranked below Southern Cal.
No, you said Utah. And I said
Utah, whatever, Utah. Utah. But I did say Utah first.
I don't know about that.
I hate Jose too.
Look, all I'm saying is that is the reason why. I'm telling you why. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, or that I agree. Caleb Williams is the reason they are there.
Jose, I will not be the coach of LSU as coach.
I won't be the coach of LSU. I'm just letting you guys.
We need a Jose sucks t-shirt.
I'm an objective reporter here. All right, don't shoot the messenger. Just remember, don't hate the player, hit the game. I think that's what we got to remind.
Brandon, you know tonight he's going to be sitting there and he's going to be thinking, gosh, I hope.
We're going to be playing Xbox tonight in about 15 minutes, and I'll just...
Yeah, he's going to be thinking about,
I hope talk to him some more.
I hope
he's going to be like, God, I already bought my Williams & Mary, Missouri jersey.
I didn't.
He's going to customize the number or whatever. You know, it's going to be crazy. He's going to have a... God, this guy's the worst. Who invited him?
If I'm right, then that's pretty cool.
You know what's going to happen to you on Tuesday when this podcast starts and you're wrong?
I fucking hope so. I hope everyone is. I hope 250
you're gonna be
people in this
crying
community
on the live stream about your
show
Missouri
up
Tigers.
And they say Hose is a fucking idiot, and I'll be like, yeah.
Can we put that on a shirt?
Don't put
Hose
that
is
on
a fucking idiot.
I think that one won't fly.
I think that'd be the biggest seller we have.
It'd be sold out immediately.
One day we'll have a website and like our regular t-shirts, like the July 170,000 t-shirts aren't selling. The This Doesn't Suck t-shirts not selling, but you look over to the Jose fucking Sucks shirt, there's 1,000. Like we cannot buy enough t-shirt material to keep up with the demand.
So
I'm not gonna say it wouldn't be cool, but
yes, Keaton, cool. You can go ahead.
Shave half his beard if Jose is wrong.
Jose, you're getting jumped on right now.
If Jose is wrong. But what if I'm right?
I think
one side. One side.
That doesn't suck.
This is why we do this show. This is what I'm talking about. This is better than our football talk.
It is football talk. I'm educating you guys on football.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to educate you on Tuesday.
Send me the link and I'll be your first customer if you make
I've already said, I hope I'm wrong.
No, you also said, but I'll be happy either way.
Because I'll be right.
That is so... I hate that.
That's
not a fan.
Have you ever seen, like, on 247, these guys have percentages of correctness on their crystal balls? I'll be hitting 100. I'm batting 1,000. You guys aren't even... You haven't hit. You're just swinging and missing. Every time. Every time.
Hose.
Sorry,
you are
I'm
the
Shohei
Lincoln
Ohtani.
Riley.
I'm Shohei Ohtani, and you're Anthony Rizzo after his concussion.
That's just stupid. Like, no. You are not Shohei Ohtani. That guy is changing the game of baseball. Doing shit that we've never seen before.
I'm changing.
What are you changing the name
coverage? Recruitment coverage.
You're changing the name of nothing.
I'm not changing anyone's name.
You're changing
the game.
You're changing your colors.
Changing the game.
Yeah.
You went to OU. Were like, at least then, were you an OU fan?
I've always been an OU fan.
I'm seriously questioning it.
Sorry that I'm an objective viewer of sports.
I think I tend to think that you are a closet Mizzou fan. I think you do have that Tiger blood in you.
Look, I was a big Drew Lock guy. I thought he was going to be good.
Oh my.
But that's about it.
You probably were fist pumping when Luther Burden went to Mizzou too.
No, that was devastating. But that was all Lincoln Riley's fault.
Anyway, all right. I can't wait till Tuesday's live stream. I cannot wait because it's either going to be full-on meltdown in here and Jose is going to be saying, I told you so, or we are going, everyone, all 250 people are going to be coming after you. You know that.
That's fine. Look, and I can't wait for either of those outcomes. Because if I'm right, my name right there is going to say Jose Wilfong. Thanks, Ryan, for giving me that idea.
Please, everyone that's still watching this, we're over 170. Please tune in because one way or another, I think we're all
next Tuesday is going to be a wild show. So here's the deal. So again, I'm going to be joining late next Tuesday, so we're starting the show a little late. But you guys, never mind. I don't know. There's no way to hold off the onslaught that will be, Jose will face with. So I'll just join in 30 minutes late and just rekindle that spark.
Oh, it won't go.
Just immediately, I'll be so excited to get out of class and be like, Hose.
I said one thing. Bud? I said, okay, I can't wait till things go the other way around, and it's like McKinley's. We're starting to gain some steam. Oklahoma seems to be the favorite a week and a half, and everyone's just like, holy shit, we're about to get a 5-star.
Can you confirm this?
Let's relax. Jose gave DJ Hicks his Costco membership, which sealed the deal. If that's all he needed, I could have given him a Costco and a Sam's membership to go to Norman. Oh, man.
Jose is definitely from out west. I agree.
I do live in Arizona.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what happened.
I'm not shaving an eyebrow.
He went to Arizona a Sooner fan, and then I think just the because Arizona has a bunch of California transplants and stuff. I think just being around so many USC people, it just changed him.
I don't even want to hear it. Brum is an LSU fan. You're a secret Cowboys fan. You're a Pokes fan.
What?
I've never seen anyone cheer harder for Cowboys post their career at OSU. Who's the better UFC fighter, Bones or Daniel Cormier?
John Jones, clearly.
Except for every time they.
That doesn't mean
holy
that.
Shit! I hope Daniel Cormier wins.
You can't confirm that.
I can't confirm that. I was there every time.
I will attest to that. You are a big DC fan, and
I was a Daniel Cormier fan.
Yeah, you love the Oklahoma.
John Jones is a cheater.
I mean,
did he win?
He likes.
If anything, Brandon is a closet Penn State fan.
Yeah, I mean, I can live with that. That's better than being a closet Poke. But even then,
he's a closet Poke. He's an outward.
I still prefer the Sooners to land commitments over Pennsylvania State.
No, you're a closet Poke, outward Penn State.
Jose,
everyone's got a second school.
Jose, I'll never forget. This is like you claiming that you're a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, but if LeBron James
that was a tough time in my life.
You were pulling for LeBron James.
I'll always pull for LeBron James until he retires. Then I'll cry for a couple days, and then I'm going to be a big Thunder fan. I've already got my Thunder gear in the cart for when that day happens.
Amanda Nunez would kick my ass.
Yeah.
What?
Keaton asked who would win in a fight between me or Amanda Nunez. That's not competitive. I might die.
She would shove you in a locker.
Yeah.
I mean, she would probably shove me in a locker.
To be fair, I don't think, I don't think that the trio of 2 Plane Sports, if we get locked into a cage with Amanda Nunez, is going to win that.
All three of us against her, I think we could.
I think so.
I mean, I'm going to be carrying all the weight here. You guys are going to be running over there, hiding in the corner, not doing shit.
And
I'll be
Jose's going to have his yellow.
Jose's going to have a
gold,
USC fucking gloves on.
He's
My
going to have his
UFC
gold
gloves?
and black.
USC
UFC
gloves on. You're going to have your USC gloves on.
Yeah, you do need UFC gloves. Stupid. All right, great game today, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get off.
Yeah.
I need to play video games with hosts. All right.
I can't believe people just watched 10 minutes of us bickering back and forth, but that just means that Tuesday is going to be great. So be sure to
going to be
tune in.
electrifying.
Turn on the notification bell.
Eric said, "Are you an XL shirt, hose?
You're an out. Yeah, I can be.
Are you an
Yeah.
XL or a large?"
Well,
Eric's
either.
going to make you
Depends on
one.
the shirt. I'll take an XL.
All right, XL for hose. All right.
XL for
Appreciate
hose.
everyone tuning in. Thank you. See you next Tuesday.